and maybe not holding our breath. Frank Puglisi, let me bring you in on, again, my non-legal analysis is basically calling phooey on Donald Trump's defense, which is a noun and a verb in the Presidential Records Act. This is what the government, the Smith team files. Quote, the Presidential Records Act is not a criminal statute and in no way purports to address the retention of national security information. The defendants are, of course, free to make whatever arguments they like for dismissal of the indictment, and the government will respond promptly. But they should not be permitted to gesture at a baseless legal argument, call it novel, and then claim that the court will require an indefinite continuance in order to resolve it. Basically, using Bill Barr's favorite word and calling BS on the notion that there's any defense other than perhaps political or rhetorical in the Presidential Record Act for the crimes Trump is accused of committing.
You know, we're getting more than a glimpse here into what this trial is going to be like, even in pretrial motions and filings. And I love that part of this because, you know, we're seeing this play out back and forth in the paper, and it's very insightful. Look, the Presidential Records Act is indeed about a president declaring documents to be personal and his. There's not even a dream of it applying to classified information and documents that have been demanded repeatedly by the government. So that's going to go nowhere. And yes, it's an act of desperation by the Trump legal team to continue to, even this early, push that notion that, we've got this new idea, it's going to take forever. But I want to, you know, Glenn really adeptly handled the legal issues inherent in this claim of, hey, let's extend this thing beyond the election. Let me handle the national security concern, which is the longer this gets delayed, the longer the public is denied the information we need to know to make a more informed decision about an election, the more dangerous this becomes. And Trump is a continuing, clear and present danger to national security. If the judge decides this can go on indefinitely, she's essentially saying we can live under this threat indefinitely. And that needs to stop. And, you know, if she's going to weigh the issues, and yes, there are some interesting discussions here to be had about, hey, should we be prosecuting an active candidate for president? He is a private citizen. And so any interest in allowing somebody unfettered to run for president without being touched by criminal acts and prosecutions is grossly outweighed by the public interest in vetting and knowing and preventing a threat from taking office again. It's a no-brainer, but we'll see if Judge Cannon can grasp it.
Mike, I know you're a student of how the federal government has very uncomfortably at times dealt with the tsunami of disinformation and lies that comes from Trump and his lawyers every time they're under scrutiny. And I want to read you something that was, subtle's the wrong word, but sort of tucked into this filing. This is from your colleagues reporting on the government's filing yesterday. Mr. Trump's lawyers also complained that a first trove of discovery evidence provided by the government was expansive, including more than 800,000 pages of material, and would take a significant